Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is just an opportunity for us to talk about the launching of the hybrid model that we will be starting on Tuesday, September 8th. This is really going to be a partnership with the We Are Weaver community. And so I, again, am really excited that we're going to get this chance to bring our kiddos back onto campus. We're going to be doing it in a very measured and in a very safe way. And so I just want to walk through the different components of it, and hopefully this will answer a lot of your questions as we get ready for that September 8th time. So what is it going to look like? Before we even get to what it looks like, I am going to just go ahead and take a moment to just ask everybody that when we're going through this, to just remember that there's going to need to be a lot of grace. But this is going to be, I've mentioned this before, but this is really going to be our word of the year, as we need patience, we need grace with our students, with our families, with our teachers, with the administration, really just kind of, again, understanding that this is very new for everyone and that we are going to have to sometimes make some changes to some things, find out what works and what doesn't. But if we can treat each other with this level of grace, we will have a really successful school year. So what does the hybrid schedule look like? Let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to go through a variety of different components of what this whole hybrid program looks like. But when we start with the schedule, it's really important to note that there are two cohorts. There's a cohort A and a cohort B, and your teacher has let you know which cohort you are in. For each cohort, you will have 2 hours and 50 minutes of in-person instruction. It means that they will be on campus. So for cohort A, they'll be on campus from 8:15 to 11:05. Then our cohort B will be on campus from 11:50 to 2:40. So they'll each have that 2 hours and 50 minutes of in-person instruction. Then we will have, each cohort will have some independent or asynchronous work when they're not at Weaver. For our TK and K students, it will be an additional 10 minutes of asynchronous at-home independent work. For our first through third graders, they'll be doing 60 minutes each day of asynchronous or independent work. And our fourth and fifth graders will be doing 70 minutes as well. So there is one day though where this cohort schedule will be a little different, and we're going to be sending a lot of reminders on this one. But on Wednesdays, we will be alternating which cohort is on campus from 8:15 to 10:15 each day. So this Wednesday, September 9th, cohort A will be on campus from 8:15 to 10:15. And cohort B, you'll be on campus on Wednesday the following week, September 16th. When a cohort is on campus, the other cohort will have the same 2 hours of independent asynchronous work. So what does that look like as a whole? So let me show you what the schedule will look like. And you do have a copy of this, by the way, attached to the Parent Square message that went out. This schedule is in there. So you can see when the groups are on campus, our cohort A or our cohort B. And that Wednesday time is the one we were discussing, where it says that one group will be on campus while the other one will be remote from 8:15 to 10:15. Then in the afternoon on Wednesday, you will see that there will be asynchronous work that will be largely our music and our media center or STEAM lessons. And you can see the amount of time that will be dedicated to those asynchronous opportunities on Wednesday afternoon. But this will be the schedule. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, cohort A is on campus from 8:15 to 11:05. Cohort B will be on campus from 11:50 to 2:40. The times that are mentioned in that remote or asynchronous work, those are suggested, but they do give you at least a good guideline so that you can work with your students to have them complete their asynchronous work on a regularly scheduled basis. But you don't have to use these times. They are just recommended for the asynchronous remote time. So how are we going to be doing drop-off and pickup? It's going to be very different. First off, the main driveway will not be available. We will not be using the main driveway for drop-off or pickup. Instead, we are going to be going to 3 separate gates. Let me show you what those are. So this is a map that you can see of the school, And in it, I'm going to move my window over here a bit. This might make it a little bit easier. You can see these different gates. So we have 3 of them, and you're designated which gate you will attend by your your student's last name. So if your last name begins with an A through H, you'll be at the foster gate, and you can see by the menu the map where that gate is actually located. It's not the one that most people are familiar with. It is actually a little further south, but you can see where it is. It's on the fire emergency road behind the portables. Then if your child's last name begins with I through O, they'll be on the Bostonian gate, which is on the far back end of campus. And then for our students whose last names begin through P through Z, you'll be at the Wembley gate, which is just north of the Kids Corner parking lot. Now, we also have a 4th gate that is specially designated for our kinders and our TK students. And that kinder drop-off area is just an opportunity for families to walk up their kinder or TK student and drop them off there. Please note that you cannot park in the Piedmont lot. That is a staff-only parking lot except for the reserve spaces. In fact, all of our parking lots right now are reserved for staff unless designated as a reserved space that were paid for through one of our fundraisers. So it is going to be paramount that if you are coming to campus, you are going to have to park on the street, because our main gate is going to be reserved, our main parking lot is going to be reserved for our several preschool classes where parents have to exit their vehicles to sign their children in. So the main gate is also being used for our school lunch drop-offs, as well as for our buses for several of our special education students. So these are going to be the different gates that we'll have people come in at. What it will look like when you come in, so this is one of the gates. This is the Wembley gate, and you'll notice that it has a cone zone. We actually have, each one of these gates has the letters that that are assigned to that gate. And you'll also notice that we have a coned off area. This is the drop-off zone, which I will talk about in a little bit. It is also the pickup zone. And it's going to be an area where families who are not planning on walking their students up to campus can drop off their children. All right, so this is what a typical gate. We have these 3, each with a sign, each with a cone zone that we are designating for dropping off of your students. Now, how will this work? Want to everyone just remember this. Always keep the school to the right. This will ensure as the maximum amount of safety as students are exiting the vehicles. So setting up your car correctly to make sure that your child is exiting the passenger side of the car. That way they are on the sidewalk. They are not coming into traffic. We are not crossing a street and unaccompanied. So when you're dropping off your student, if you are dropping them off, please always keep the school to the right. That will make this a lot easier and a lot safer. So the gates all open at a very specific time. Please note, you cannot drop your student off early because we will not have adult supervision and there is no playground time. So for example, for cohort A, supervision will reach the gate at 8:05. The gates will open at 8:10. We start at 8:15 and then the gates will close at 8:20. For cohort B, supervision will arrive at each gate at 11:35. Gates open at 11:40. And the gates will close at 11:50. If you do happen to arrive late after the gates have closed, this will be one of the rare times you will be able to use the main driveway for drop-off. You will just drive your student up there and someone will meet you at the main gate if you come after the gates close. Please do not come beforehand. For dismissal, when we're going to be sending students home, supervision will be reaching the gates at 11. Gates will open at 11:05 and the gates will close at 11:20 for cohort A. For cohort B, 2:35 is when supervision arrives. 2:40 is when the gates will open. The gates will close at 2:55. If you arrive after those gates close, again, the main driveway is where you will go, but only if you did not make it in time to pick up your child. So how can we make drop-off a little easier? This is going to be, again, very new for a lot of people. As I mentioned, always keeping the school to the right is going to be a huge part of this. Please do not drop off on the opposite side of the streets and have students run across the street unaccompanied. Also, to help in this, students should have all their materials ready to exit the car. Please don't have their school bags in the trunk. Have them carry them in their lap or put them on the floor in front of them. But they should have all their materials ready to go so that when you pull up to that cone zone at their gate, your students can immediately exit to the car. Parents need to stay in the car. This is not a parking zone, so students will exit to the right on the sidewalk with their belongings. Also, when they're entering campus, all around each of the gates, there are going to be markings. We have chalk X's on the ground, and then we also have ribbons that are tied on the fence that correlate to those markings. So you just find a spot. They are all 6 feet apart, and that's where students will stand. Siblings and families can share a spot. You do not need to have one person on each spot. Students will enter and exit through their assigned gate. That will be their assigned gate all year long. Okay, it will always be their assigned gate. Please make sure that your mask is on when you're entering the gate. And please also note these are student-only entrances. Parents, unfortunately, we cannot have any parents or adult visitors allowed on campus. So students we will have a lot of staff on hand to be able to escort and direct students, but parents, we are not allowing you on campus at this time. So it is, if you have older siblings, it is really important to have those older siblings walk their younger siblings to their teacher's meeting spot before reporting to their own classroom. A couple other tips and suggestions. If you are planning on walking your child, and a lot of our Weaver families do like to walk their child up to the school gate, please do not park on the school side of the street. We're really trying to keep that side anywhere near the drop-off pickup zones. Please, if you're going to park and walk your child, please do not park on the school side of the street near the drop-off pickup gates. Instead, it would be better if you either parked on the opposite side of the street or on a side street and then walked your child to campus. Please be careful when you're crossing the street. And then, as always, out of consideration for our neighbors, please be mindful that you are not blocking our neighbors' driveways. Really appreciate extra special attention to that as well. So what will that first day of school look like? We have everyone coming back here to our hybrid model on Tuesday. And so we want to make sure that we are helping students be successful in finding their teacher so that we can get our day started off right. So first off, with regard to the first day supplies, each one of your teachers will be sending home an email that has what they would like you to pack into the pencil box with the recommended supplies, including the learning kit that the Weaver PTA sponsored and put together. So you need to send those things with your child. If they're going to Kids Corner, it is sometimes helpful to have just a smaller pencil pouch or Ziploc bag with some necessary supplies. Again, we will send those out as well as to what you will put in your Kids Corner bag, which again, just makes it easier for transportation. And then you will keep all of the supplies at your home, knowing that you will throughout the year need to replenish the boxes, and teachers will be emailing you what they need you to send the next day to replenish those pencil boxes. Also, first day welcome, realizing that some of our, while all of our students have had a chance to see their teacher's face online, not all of them know where their classroom might be. So to make this a little easier, on our upper playground, we have the alphabet, A through Z, with the A being on the side closest to Foster, with the Z being closer to the side of Wembley. So what you'll do is you can see each one of our teachers has been assigned a letter. That is where your child will report, because the teachers will be there with signs and having their students line up 6 feet apart before escorting them to class. The only exception to this are going to be our TK, K, and K1 combo students. You will be meeting at the Piedmont Kindergate, and your teachers will be there. That is for all TK, K, and our K1 combo class for the first day, okay? So it would be really helpful. I'm going to mention this again, but the campus is open all weekend. We really strongly encourage families to come onto campus. find the letter that their child will report to, maybe perhaps also with your siblings, making sure that they have a meeting point before they go to the gate to dismiss. But this way also, again, we are really going to encourage you to come onto campus and be familiar with the campus and where our teachers will be located on that first day. This sheet, by the way, is also attached in the Parent Square email, so feel free to print this out if you need to or open it at a later time. So our safety precautions, how are we making sure that we are keeping our students safe? There's a variety of ways that we're doing it, and so let me take you through a few of those right now. First off, the first part is this is a shared responsibility. We are really asking our families to help us by making sure that you take your child's temperature and do a symptom screening each morning before school. What are some of the daily symptoms that we're looking for here? A temperature of 100.4 degrees or higher without taking pain reliever or fever reducing medication. Cough, shortness of breath. You can see the whole list that is right there. But again, you will be receiving an email daily from the district that will have this reminder. So please, if your child is not feeling well, please don't bring them to school. They will be excused as an illness absence, so we will help them make up their work, but we do not want parents to be bringing kids who are not feeling well to school. Should your child become ill at school, what we'll do, it is really important that we will be counting on you to arrange for immediate pickup of your child. We do have an additional room set aside for isolation for students who have a fever over 100.3, so if they're 100.4 or higher, but we do need parents to make sure that they have a system in place to ensure that a child can be picked up immediately and not left at our campus for an extended length of time. Also, masks and face shields for all students and staff. We will be, while it is in TK through 2, it is strongly encouraged that they wear a mask or a face shield. The only time for our 3rd through 5th grade students, as well as for our staff, all adults on staff, they are required. And so the only time that we'll be having a removal of masks will be during eating or physical activity. We do have brown paper bags for each student to store their mask when they are doing one of these activities. I would also strongly encourage families to look at the possibility of getting a mask lanyard that a student can just hang around their neck. And you might even want to have an extra mask in their backpack should there be an emergency. We do have some disposable masks as well as some cloth masks for students, but again, most prefer their own personal masks. So those are some things that we definitely would recommend. Please note that we will be taking students' temperatures before they walk into a classroom. Teachers will be doing this at their classroom doors starting on Tuesday and continuing on throughout the year. And as I also mentioned, we do have an additional room for students who have that temperature of 100.4 or higher, and then we will be calling families to come pick up the students immediately. We also, our district has been wonderful at providing a wide variety of COVID-19 classroom supplies, PPE supplies. You can see what has been provided to each of them. We also are going to be sanitizing and disinfecting between the cohorts of both the classrooms as well as the bathrooms. So not only will they be disinfected, they will be sanitized in between the different cohorts. We also are not going to be having any shared materials or school supplies. Very important that pencil boxes are stocked, and remembering those learning kits, because the learning kits really do have a lot of the manipulatives, especially for our primary students who will not be sharing supplies, crayons, those types of things. We also have several new water bottle filling stations. We cannot have students using the drinking fountains. So it is really important to also send a labeled reusable water bottle with your student each day. They will be able to fill up their water bottles. We have some disposable cups for students, but the drinking fountains themselves will not be usable for this year. If you do have more questions specifically about our safety plan, anything in particular that you feel needs to be done, you can definitely look at the whole district reentry and safety plan visiting losal.org. It has all of the different guidelines as well as the different flow charts of how we will handle a wide variety of situations should they arise. So I just want to take this time to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this. Thank you to the We Are Weaver community. Thank you to our PTA, our Friends of Weaver groups who have been so instrumental in helping us get ready. Thank you to our teachers who have been planning like crazy to create a first successful virtual week and have been planning even harder to welcome our students back to campus. A big thank you also to the Los Alamitos Unified School District for providing us with so much guidance as we have been doing this. We really are looking forward to an absolutely amazing start of our hybrid program and welcoming these kiddos back to campus. Hope everybody has an absolutely amazing day. And remember, this is a great place to learn. Have a great day, everybody.